Hey, how's everybody doing today? I'm doing well, thank you for asking. Body beat down here on this Friday morning. Fixing to get my spin going on. I spin for 30 minutes every day. As you can tell from the thumbnail, we have a little bit of some stuff to go over. I'm going to try and take my time with it because, again, I do this for 30 minutes, and so I'd like to have something to talk about for 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and just start pedaling the old bike. I get my computer working there. All right. So hope everybody's having a good day so far. Yeah, we're just getting started over here in the old USA. To my buddy, Reverend Terminator, overseas. You're about 7 hours ahead of me. So you were heading on into the afternoons. I hope you're doing well. I hope your back is giving you some sort of ease and comfort. Everybody send your good vibes to Reverend Terminator. Wishing well. He's got a little back problem going on. So, last week and this week have been kind of interesting. We've had 2 snow weeks now. Or I guess we can call them ice weeks. Since basically the majority of it's ice that's causing the problem. And, not that ice, but ice, frozen precipitation. That kind of ice. So, yeah, this is week number 2. And hopefully they're not going to cut out some of our vacation time to make up for this, but you never know. That's 2 weeks, so it's a long time to have off. That's another Christmas break right there. So, like I've mentioned over the past 2 weeks, when you live in the country and all that, like we do, the main roads get passable, a lot faster than the side roads and back roads and back roads. A lot of those roads never see brine, whatever it's called, that they put on the road. Definitely no salt or anything like that. You don't have tractors out there scraping and trucks and all that, so those roads take a long time to unthaw. So, but we're moving into some warmer temperatures over the next few days, so probably Monday we'll be good to go. I hope. Oddly enough, I'm ready to get back. So, yeah. So far this week has been okay with the workouts. Again, and this is gonna kind of segue into this piece of paper over here with all this stuff wrote down. I am wanting to change things up. I've been wanting to change things up since the day I started back working out in 2021. But as I've mentioned before, I kind of quickly fell back into the routine of the normal lifts, kind of working out, powerlifting and bodybuilding. I guess you can call it power bodybuilding. Kind of fall in that mixture, and I just kind of started back on that path. That's where I've been this whole time, and you've seen me add in some other things randomly, like going outside and working with the tire, and maybe some sprints and stuff, and jumping rope, and trying to do some things like that. Even going to to schools and playing on the playgrounds, and a bicycle ride here and there, a walk. Dude, I haven't been walking in a while, mostly because of the weather and the temperatures. But me wanting to do different things is nothing new. And kind of going off into this whole paper here, you know, there comes a time when you got to make some decisions. So basically, I'm just going to kind of read this part here. I've lifted deadlifts, bench, squats, all that main, normal, everyday stuff for years. Even before I started back in 2021, when I started working out in the 90s and then into the 2000s, it's the same stuff. Year after year after year. Basically, I'm bored. So, you have a couple of options, guys. You either keep doing it, what you're doing, and be bored and unhappy, or you get burnt out and you stop working out altogether because you're just burnt out and tired of it all, or you got to mix things up and do some different stuff. That's where I want to go. I want to mix things up, do some different stuff. There's a lot of those people out there that have kind of issues with that, and that's where all this kind of comes from. And this is not, you know, trying to get in a heated argument or debate or anything with anybody. This is just my thoughts and opinions on everything that we all have. We all have thoughts and opinions on things, and they're different, and that's what makes the world go around, I guess. So let me go ahead and try to just start a little bit here. You know, everything looks okay when you're kind of looking at it, and when you try to start talking, it's like you've been hit in the head by Prime Mike Tyson. So let me just kind of start here. The first thing that we'll talk about are rules, laws, what have you, when it comes to working out. And as I've said it before any of this even come up, I've mentioned before, there are no rules or laws when it comes to working out. Your fitness and the way you handle that is it's your freedom. You do whatever you want. There are no rules or laws as to how you do something. There's basic fundamentals, there's basic things that you want to follow, like you don't want to do stupid things, like putting 500 pounds on a bar and trying to squat it when you can only squat 225. Or you don't want to bend yourself over and try to, you know, bend backwards while you're trying to deadlift. You want to bend forward. You know, just common sense, don't be stupid. But there are no rules to any of this. There's nothing that says you have to lift heavy. There's nothing that says you have to lift medium weights or light weights, however many reps or however many sets or rest times or any of that. There's nothing that's set in stone. And you can find different programs out there to follow, and they tell you certain guidelines to follow, but that's their program. That's not fitness, that's not lifting weights for the whole. That's their program. So, you know, we got people that swear by lift heavy, lift low, you know, low reps and a lot of sets. And this is kind of a comment that one of the people left. Someone that I like just fine, but the comment struck me and I had to kind of mention that. This person feels like lifting weights is basically the big three lifts, Maybe include shoulders in there if you want. I do. But this person thinks lift heavy, low reps, and a lot of sets. And I've done that. I've done that 100 times over. And everything in between. And the person kind of mentioned that, there's danger when you start doing more reps and, all this different stuff with weights, that it's not meant, weights are not meant to do a lot of reps. I don't know where that information came from, but that's not good information, my humble opinion. Again, there's no set rules. You can do whatever you want. Look at bodybuilders. Bodybuilders don't go, heavy with just singles or doubles. Bodybuilders are usually lifting in the 10 to 20 rep range and sometimes even more. And they also can lift heavy. Now remember, heavy is different for each individual, but I've watched plenty of pro bodybuilders since the 80s, repping out weights that we'll never reach and doing reps and sets. So it's all in your training, it's all in what you're going for. And a lot of people make fun of people that do say powerlifting or Olympic lifting or strongman competition, stuff like that. A lot of people make fun of people like that. People like myself, because they think, well, it's an excuse to stay fat or thick or obese. And let's face it, a lot of people that are in those categories that lift like those athletes, they usually got fat on them. And there's a common misconception that a man needs to be fat or have, thickness. No, a man's manhood isn't really, it's not based on your build. It's not based on sizes of things. It's not based on your bank account, where you live. Your manhood is based on your morals and your values and your work ethic and stuff like that. So, anyway. But there's a common, there's a misconception of what right and wrong is. And it was also mentioned that, CrossFit and stuff like that introduces, bad form, injuries, and stuff of that nature. Well, I got 2 blown out shoulders and a messed up hip from doing basic bodybuilding, strongman, powerlifting, whatever type workouts. My shoulders from bench pressing, this hip. Initially got aggravated from doing a stretch. Very basic stretch. Put that left foot up on my right leg and just push down on my knee. And there it went. But it's been further aggravated to where I couldn't even put my foot up. Couldn't put a sock on, a shoe, nothing. From doing squats. So, and we all know you can get injured just stepping out of bed. And how you work out is going to determine whether you get injured or not. It doesn't matter the style of workout that you do. It doesn't matter if it's one of the 15 different categories of lifting weights. It doesn't matter. You can get hurt doing anything. And that's kind of what I'm touching on in another section here. And we all know that people get set in their ways. People don't like change. People are kind of one-minded, one way. And that's really noticeable with some of like the old school gym rats that follow the you just do the main 3 lifts and that's it. You lift heavy, you lift whatever, and go home and come back and do it again. But when you're set in your ways, it keeps you from experimenting and trying new things and possibly finding new things that you enjoy. And that goes for everything in life, from your religion to politics to the food that you eat to the shoes that you wear. If you're just stuck in one way, doing one thing, you're kind of shortchanging yourself. So, I'm going to read this, and this may just be going over what I just said. I won't know until I get to read it. But I've mentioned plenty of times that lifting weights is easy. That's the easy part. Coming in here, lifting these weights, whether I make a video or not, upload a video whether I do or not, or lifting the weights and all that, that's easy for me. That's not difficult to do. Come in here and lay my big fat lazy butt on the bench and bench press, whether it's 135 pounds or I'm going for 405 again, or whether I'm squatting 135 or trying to go for 400 plus again, or deadlifting, etc., etc. It's still easy. It's not as taxing on the body, and a lot of it's hard to say because lifting is mental. There's a lot of mental, whatever the word is I'm looking for. There's a lot of stress mentally sometimes when lifting, and I have mentioned that. But people are more apt to come in here and lay down and do some basic lifts, more so than going for a 20-mile bicycle ride. And I don't mean bicycle, I mean going out and leaving your house and going for a bicycle ride. More people are more apt to do some squats than they are to go outside and flip a tire and get hot and sweaty or freezing cold, or jumping rope and feeling like you're going to have a heart attack, or running around and playing basketball a little bit, but anything that requires you to leave the comfort of the gym is not easy. I've done it, and I can speak on both sides very easily and with a lot of facts that it's two totally different things, and doing one thing is definitely a lot more easy and accessible and acceptable and for most people to do, because it's not as grueling and taxing as leaving your house to go do something. Going for that 10-mile hike in the woods, or that bike ride, or whatever. Going out and doing those kind of things is not easy. Being an active lifestyle. Working out is active, but it's not like active. So, I've kind of touched on pretty much what I wanted to touch on here. That's what she said. But, the thing is I knew I'd get at least one person commenting, kind of talking about, how they don't like CrossFit or anything like that. I mean, I knew I would get someone, because it's kind of a triggering, there's certain things out there that trigger people. And CrossFit really triggers the piss out of a lot of the just old school, 3-movement people. And that's sad. It shouldn't be that way. Any anything we do that gets us up off the couch should have people applauding us, giving us good compliments, encouraging us to go and do good. You know, I've lifted enough weight over the past 5 years that if I never did any of those things again, I would be okay. You know, and it's been a struggle for me to get to this point, to get away from my thinking that I've always had, that I always go back to with the main lifts. It's taken a lot for me to get to this point where I feel like, okay, you know, now I have to say, well, I used to do that. I used to bench 405. I used to deadlift 550. I used to squat 460. I used to shoulder press 290, 295, whatever it was. I used to take the 100-pound dumbbells and shoulder press them. I used to do this. It's taken a lot for me to finally get in that frame of mind where I'm okay with that. So when someone finally gets, when someone finally breaks free of that mindset, of that one-track way of thinking, you should applaud them. And you should also maybe get encouragement from them and break out of your mold and try something different. Now, I could have just called what I'm wanting to do some sort of circuit training or anything in the world. I could have called it anything. But the moment you call something, the moment you use the word CrossFit, you've lost some people. Because they've seen, some examples being done that they didn't approve of. But I can say the same thing again of things I've seen people do in the gym with just your standard everyday lifts that I didn't approve of. So, but I've never been against doing those main lifts, obviously, because that's what I've done. And I realize that there's more to working out than just those few basic movements. Far, far more. And for those of you that don't like anything else other than those few basic movements, you don't like the strongman competitions, or watching Olympic lifts, or, I don't know, like anything. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there to do, and a lot of people enjoy it. They get very healthy. And again, injuries are going to happen no matter what. I got to go up and down 2 little steps right there into my office every day. I could trip, fall down, and break my neck, and there I'd be. I'd be getting up, getting out and getting a rat on the floor. That's what I'd be doing. So, again, my routine's not changing to a 7-day-a-week CrossFit style of training. This is something I wanted to do and throw in there maybe once a week. And having said that, I think what I did yesterday I called the clean and jerk. Well, that's what I seen it called, so that's what I said that it was. And then someone else mentioned that that's not really a clean and jerk. It's this, and clean and jerk is something else. But again, I can only go by what I see, and it just so happens that one thing I seen, that person called it the clean and jerk. So I've never been good with names of a lot of these movements because we're all used to the same kind of basic stuff, and so that's all we talk about. And not only that, one movement can have 2, 3, 5 different names. You may do one teeny tiny thing different in a movement, You may flick your wrist like this, and it might be called something different than if you just keep your wrist like this. That's how picky and weird it can be with names. So, whether it's the clean and jerk, or whether it's the running man of a slice of pizza, I don't know what you want to call it. Anyway, so today, as I mentioned last night in my post that I made, today I am going to do kind of a small CrossFit, don't kill me, CrossFit kind of a program that I put together. And that's going to be my main workout for today. It's just going to be a 10-minute workout. I'm going to set the alarm. 10 minutes. I'm going to go through these 3 different movements as many times as I can do them in that 10 minutes. And that's going to be my workout. So you can stay tuned to the channel, and you can still see me do the basic lifts, and you can see me do stuff like the tire, and you can see me do stuff like walks, and you can see me maybe go for a bike ride once in a while, or jump rope, or do something crazy. You can stay tuned and see me do some different styles of training, maybe like CrossFit, or that high rocks, or whatever else out there that I can find. You can stay tuned, or if you don't care to see any of that stuff, you don't have to be here. And I hate that because, I think I've got some pretty good people out there that watch. And not only that, it may eventually change your mind, and you might do stuff as well. You might change some little things up here and there, and incorporate different things into your daily routines by watching me. And that's what all this is about. You kind of learn from people, and people leave comments, hey, have you tried this, or have you done that, or, and even people that correct the names of things, I like that, because like I said, I don't know the names of these things. And if I see something wrong, and I use that term, hey, let me know. So I appreciate that. I like learning. I don't mind change and evolving. That's what humans are supposed to do. So on a side note, if I had one dream, and I've had this dream my whole adult life, you're probably going to say, well, just do it. You can't just do it. If I had a dream and an image of what I wanted to look like, it would not be like this. I don't find being fit and having some strength to be the ideal male physique. I think being healthy and fit and athletic looking, and being able to move some moderate weights, being able to tie your shoes and enjoy life and run around and have fun, to be far, far greater than any amount of body weight you can put on, or over exaggeration, that's the wrong terminology, how much weight you can lift. Yeah, those are wrong words, over exaggeration. Like a large amount. I don't know, you know what I'm saying. Like, I'd rather, if I could only bench press 225, but I could look like the ideal physique that I have in mind, I'd be okay with that. Because I don't really feel the need. There's not a real world use really where I'm going to have to do a bench press 5 pounds, right? And I'm not against strength. I think strength is amazing. I've always loved it. I've always loved the human body, and I think it's beautiful. I think we're amazing. I think we're capable of some amazing things. And I think we all have different ideas, opinions, and views on things. But I think we can all come to the same conclusion of we enjoy doing this kind of stuff, whether it's light, medium, or heavy weights, or whether it's low rep, medium rep, or high rep, or whether you're 300-pound monster or a 150-pound gazelle. We all have things in common, and that's, some health and fitness and some lifting and some being active. I think that's what we need to try to support and try to spread, and not so much the closed-minded, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, that's dangerous, that's not dangerous, that's wrong, this ain't wrong. That should all be done away with. So anyway, guys, I got 13 seconds left. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff to the Body Beatdown. That's me, Mike, your incredible host on this Friday morning. And don't forget, get up, get out, get rad, do it to it. We'll see you next time on the Body Beatdown. See y'all later.
Get up, get out, get rad, and do it to it!